Hey y'all, how y'all doing this morning? I'm gonna go ahead and do this video and then I'm gonna eat my breakfast. But I'm doing good. Yesterday my phone was being so freaking weird and I was finally able to get it to work today. Um I'm not going to be okay, so when it comes to match reviews, I wanted to do them weekly, but they just take so much out of me having to find them takes so much. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to find like 4 or 5 matches at a time and I'm going to do those randomly. So I'm not gonna be doing them weekly anymore, they're gonna be random. But I'm gonna be picking them like 4 or 5 at a time. So just give you guys a heads up with that. Now let's get into it. Xavier earlier this week basically said that sometimes he feels like wrestling fans, especially the ones online, are entitled crybabies. And someone said, I think talking about the constant complaining, and someone said, I think he's talking about the constant complaining from fans because, once again, the people under this article did exactly what the fuck he was talking about. Did exactly what the fuck he was talking about. Y'all are thinking with your hearts and how you feel and not with your brain. And what y'all do is y'all make up what the fuck is gonna happen in your mind. And then when it doesn't happen, you complain, you complain, you complain. Even when you get something good, you complain. So it's like y'all are entitled fucking crybabies because even when WWE gives you all good shit, you complain. Not trying to be funny, 2015 was one of my favorite years for WWE, especially for the women. And no, I'm not talking about NXT because I didn't watch NXT like that. I don't watch NXT like that. I'm talking about main roster wise. The main event scene, the tag team scene, the US title scene, the Intercontinental title scene, the women's scene, all divisions had great storylines, great matches, great feuds, everything. And all I saw were motherfuckers complaining. And these people wanted exactly what was happening to happen. And then as soon as they got it, they complained, and then they wanted other people and 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 then they wanted to insert random indie person here to be given a spot. And it's just like, what the fuck? Y'all change your minds every fucking millisecond, but you expect Vince and the company to listen to y'all. I'm not talking about the casuals or the people that actually go to shows. I'm talking about the motherfuckers online, which is who I think Xavier's talking about as well. Okay? Now someone said, I think he's talking about the constant complaining from fans. I'm sure he's okay with criticism, but constantly hearing fans complain about how X, Y, and Z sucked would get annoying very quickly. Hell, just look at the comments on this site. Yeah, people have legit reasons for criticizing wrestlers and organizations, but the constant complaining, even when they're getting something good, makes it seem like people just want to complain. And that is exactly the fucking issue. There are people that have legit, real reasons and real gripes, but they're being overshadowed by the fuckers that just want to run with the opinion of a popular reporter who, not even trying to be funny, half the time is fucking wrong. And that's with multiple people. Okay? And then y'all switch your minds every fucking millisecond, but expect for WWE to keep you happy. And that's the thing that people don't realize. WWE has different um fan bases that they have to cater to, not just you. If you're a hardcore wrestling fan, watch NXT. Okay? If you are a casual fan that just wants to see your favorites and all that, watch Raw. If you are a mixture of everything, watch SmackDown. Like there's multiple different avenues in WWE that has something for everyone, to where you don't have to force yourself to watch Raw if you don't like it. That means that you're forcing yourself to watch something that you don't like just so you can complain. That is stupid and delusional as fuck. And it's delusional because you're complaining about something that you say you hate, but yet you want them to fix it in your way. And when they do it, when they put the people that you want, when they put the stars you want, you still fucking complain. That is fucking delusional. It really is. That is fucking delusional. Like, how the fuck is WWE supposed to figure out a way to cater to all y'all when all y'all change y'all opinion every fucking millisecond? What sense does that make? Once again, you people think that you know more than the man that built the multi-billion-dollar fucking company because you sit in your mom's damn basement and you listen to fucking Dave Meltzer. Like, fuck you. If you're really going to complain that much, watch something else. I never understand people that continue to watch something that they hate. In my opinion, what I did, because I didn't really watch Raw like that for a while because I had school and shit. But what I did was I watched the YouTube clips because I had, after school shit and all that. I watched the YouTube clips, and whatever interested me on the YouTube clips, I watched. And I skipped everything else. That way I knew I was getting my satisfaction. Y'all need to do that. And if nothing interests you, then just don't watch that fucking episode. But why continue to watch just so you can complain, but then complain about other people complaining about your stupid ass complaining? Like, y'all are dumb. Okay. Someone said that Becky loses at TLC, gets her rematch against the winner at Royal Rumble and loses, then enters the Rumble and wins to challenge Ronnie at WrestleMania. Very simple. I could definitely see this happening. And by the way, don't know why the fuck Ryan sat and keeps saying that Becky isn't cleared. Pretty sure Becky is cleared, and I'm pretty sure that she wrestled at Tribute to the Troops. Don't know why people are saying she's not cleared, but I'm pretty sure that she's cleared. Whatever. But I definitely agree with that. I'm definitely okay with that. Not trying to be funny, clearly the first ever women's main event is gonna be some type of thing between Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky. So Becky needs to lose the title for that to happen. I know y'all want Becky to be given everything under God's green earth, but for her to be given that spot, she needs to give up the SmackDown Women's title. I'm not even trying to be funny. This run has been better than her first run, in my opinion. So the storylines have been better. The consistency has been better. Her character's been better. Her matches, in my opinion, have been the same other than the falls count, other than the last woman standing. But, like, overall, everything's been better. So she's had a good run with the title. It did what it needed to do for her character. Now it's time to go on to the bigger stage. And for that to happen, she needs to drop it. And unless they want Charlotte to drop it right after she loses it, they're not going to go with Charlotte. And you could do so much with Asuka as champion. So much. As long as they don't have her do another undefeated streak, you could do so much with Asuka as champion. And I think it's her time now. So, yeah, I totally agree with that. And I could definitely see that happening. And then someone said Becky losing her title would be hard to understand. And someone said not really. She's definitely losing, especially if she's going to win the Rumble. They have to get the belt off her somehow, some way before the Rumble, which, again, I agree with. This is a little post that my friend on Instagram posted. It says 10 longest reigning champions of the decade, women's wise at least. And I think these two pictures summarize some of the greatest women's athletes in WWE history. Notice how it says some of, not all, before y'all get all in y'all fucking bunch. First one is Asuka at 501 days, her NXT run. Second one is Paige, 308 days, her NXT run. Third one is Nikki Bella for her second Divas Championship reign, which will never be broken. Haha, my bitch. 301 days. Okay. AJ Lee, her first Divas Championship reign, 295 days. Charlotte Flair, her NXT run, 258 days. Alexa Bliss, I think this is her first Raw women's run, 223 days. Bayley, 223 days for her NXT run. Michelle McCool, 217 days for her women's title run. I think that was her first women's title. Maurice, her first Divas Championship run, 216 days. Beth Phoenix, her Divas Championship run, 204 days. You think about the names that I just mentioned. You think about the way that they all came into the company, what they did before the company, what they did after the company. All these people, the people that are still in the company, these are really 10 of WWE's top females at their times, especially. And they all come from different backgrounds, different, ways of coming in. They all contributed differently, but one thing you can't deny is that they were all top women in their runs. And salute to all of them. I may not like all of them, but salute to them. And that shows you diversity. It really does. It shows you that you can be a ex-soccer player that wanted to try out for Diva Search with your sister to end up being one of the most biggest stars that WWE have ever produced, especially women's wrestling wise. With Nikki Bella, you could be a little girl from New Jersey just wanting to wrestle and wanting to be in WWE and AJ Lee. You could even not want to wrestle but wanting to do it to, as a gift to your brother in Charlotte Flair. You can come from a wrestling royalty in Paige. You could be a Japanese legend in Asuka. You could be a former school teacher in Michelle McCool. You can be a former model in Maurice. All these different people, yet they all made a big splash in WWE. And that's why I hate when Diva fans, especially, or supposed Diva fans, be like, oh, you have to be like this to be successful or for us to like you. Like, no. Like I said, that whole freaking list that I just said is diverse as hell. Diverse as hell. Yet they all made a splash and still are making splashes. But yeah. This is about the women tag titles that Sasha and Bayley brought up, which, let me just say this, respect both of them and all that, but I do not think that they deserve to be the first ever women's tag champions. No. Fuck out of here. I don't give a damn if people are upset about it. No. Fuck out of here. Their whole storyline for the past 2 fucking years have been, they don't know if they're friends, they don't know if they're cool, they're fighting, they're back together, they're fighting. No. Why the fuck should those two people be the first ever women's tag champions when they had a storyline of them not getting along and then getting back together for 2 straight years? No. Fuck out of here. They just now started consistently being good together the past few months. No. Fuck out of here. No. Now, could they be in the inaugural match? Yes. But should they be the first ever women's tag champions? No. I would take Riot Squad over them. In my opinion, the first ever women's tag champions should be the Bellas or the Iconics. And in all honesty, I think it should be the Bellas because they could easily do multiple feuds with multiple women on different brands and drop it to any one of them. The Bellas dropping it to the Iconics or to the Riot Squad would be a great way to put over the team, and it would be a great way to end the Bellas' full-time careers as wrestlers until WWE wants them to come back and all that, like a Trish and Lita. Seriously, because even though Billie Kay and Peyton Royce did not come in as a tag team, NXT built them up for at least a year and a half as a tag team. At least, maybe even two. Okay? And they've been a tag team since they've been on the main roster. Has shown no dissension, no nothing. Same with the Riot Squad. The Riot Squad may not have been together in NXT, but they've been together on the main roster. And they've done really well. They've improved so much. They show that they could do interesting storylines and good matches. They could easily be a female New Day in a sense, only more hardcore. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I think Sasha and Bayley should get them at some point? Yes. But first ever? No. No. Fuck out of here. No. Like I said, my dream women's WrestleMania tag team, my dream women's WrestleMania inaugural tag match for the women's tag team champions would be the Bellas versus the Iconics versus Sasha and Bayley versus Trish and Lita. And the Bellas would win. And you cannot tell me that after hard work, the Bellas do not deserve it. If the Bellas don't get singles run with the SmackDown or the Raw women's title, they deserve a run with the women's tag titles. And not even their fucking haters could say different. Not even their haters. I've seen haters say, as much as I like Sasha and Bayley, they should not be the first ever women's tag champions. It should be the Bellas or the Iconics. And I don't want to hear the whole, oh, the Bellas are part-timers excuse either. Because these same people would be okay with AJ Lee coming back and winning the title, with Paige coming back and winning the title, with CM Punk, Rock, or any of these other people that they love coming back. So fuck out of here with that excuse. Because the Bellas, even as part-timers, still put in just as much work as full-timers, if not more. So I don't want to hear that fucking excuse at all. Okay? So that's my opinion on the situation. Now let's hear hers. She said, back off Sasha and Bayley. There are far more deserving teams to be the first women's tag champions. Even though, like I said in my last video, there were women's tag titles in the 80s. Maybe like in actual teams like the Bellas and the Iconics. The Bellas have been fighting for women's tag titles since 2013. Actually, they've been fighting for women's tag titles since 2011. I've been wanting women's tag titles since 2011, and the Bellas were going to be the first champions. If y'all recall how many teams there were the Bellas, there were Kelly and Eve, there were the Divas of Doom, there were Rosa and Tamina. You know, like there were quite a few women's tag teams. So we thought that could have been a possibility. And the Bellas were fighting for them hard. But WWE decided against it, which I understood. But like I said, the Bellas have been fighting for this since fucking 2011. If anyone deserves to be the first ever women's tag champions, it's them. And like I said, the Bellas can do great storylines, great matches, great feuds with both women, with both rosters, drop it to anyone, have their rematch, retire, and then have their rematch, retire, and then wait and then come back when WWE wants them to. You are fucking lying to yourself if you really say that the Bellas don't deserve to even be considered the first ever women's tag champions. You are lying to yourself. I've seen people that could not stand the Bella Twins say, I may not like them, but I'll be dumb as fuck to say they don't deserve that fucking accolade. And you would. So anybody that ever says that, I don't take your opinion seriously. Sorry. But let's get back to her. If anyone deserves to be the first champions, it should be an actual team, not some random thrown together team like Sasha and Bayley or Asuka and Naomi. Those two teams were only thrown together because WWE has nothing for them to do. And do not at me, because it's true. I love Sasha, Bayley, Naomi, and Asuka. Sasha, Bayley, Naomi, and Asuka were top stars a year ago. Now WWE is making Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky the main stars. Not saying they shouldn't be tag champions, but definitely not the first. And I said that. I think that if they actually build them up correctly, Sasha and Bayley would be great women's tag champions. But with what their storyline was for the past 2 years, and the fact that they just now are starting to become a real tag team, no. First ever in 2018? No. It should be an actual tag team. The Bellas, the Iconics, or Riot Squad. And in my opinion, the Iconics and the Riot Squad would be way better taking the belts off of a veteran team in the Bellas than the Bellas taking it off of them. So yeah. That's how I feel. Someone says she's not second fiddle yet. Right now they're separated by the brand split. That's helping to keep their feud relatively even. I think we all see what WWE is probably thinking here. But I don't think it's fair to be angry about what WWE might do eventually. If Becky gets jobbed out and shunned back to the mid-card level, we should get angry and demand better. But that isn't what's happening right now. Right now, Becky is a champion in 2 simultaneous hot feuds and is the top draw on her show. And that's the thing. A lot of Becky fans, it's like y'all waiting for the other shoe to drop. And because of how y'all think WWE is going to do something, y'all complain based off of that. You're not looking at what they're actually doing. You're complaining based off of what you think they will do. And I cannot stand that. Not just with Becky, but with anyone. I cannot fucking stand that. Someone said, I have a whole think piece I've been kicking around in my head that I may do one day about the hypothesis that the Yes Movement and the Pipe Bomb, CM Punk's and AJ's, were 2/3 of the worst things to happen in WWE history from a creative standpoint. And if you guys don't know who MT Omar Reviews is, check them out. Omar did a whole video about the Pipe Bomb and about the Yes Movement, and I totally agreed with it. So I would definitely be interested in reading that. Someone said, people just need to accept how things are now. At this point, with the way wrestling is now, if you can't separate kayfabe storylines from the real-world appearances that the wrestlers make, then you are going to have a hard time enjoying the product, which is true. That is very true. And then someone said, the funny thing is, the things that randomly fall into their lap tend to make them the most money and get them the most attention. So you think they be gung-ho with the stuff that falls into their lap and see what they can squeeze out of it. And someone said John Cena fell into the lap really. The push only happened once his popularity started to shoot up. Someone said Stone Cold, and someone said women-wise, the Bellas and Alexa Bliss. And I totally fucking agree. A Wrestling Report said that, god damn it, hold on. Okay. A Wrestling Report said that, it's likely that Becky Lynch will be dropping the SmackDown Women's title at TLC so that she could be free to face Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania 35. The report also states that it will be Asuka who leaves as the new SmackDown Women's Champion, which, as I said, makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. I'm not sure that it's actual factual, but it makes sense for this to happen. With WWE mentioning women's tag teams on Raw this week has led to further speculations that the titles will be coming sooner than later. And as I said that if they weren't announced by Stephanie by Evolution or at Evolution, they would be announced around Royal Rumble time. That way you get at least 4 months to build up the titles, to build up teams, and then you have a fatal 4-way or a triple threat or just 2 teams, whichever one you want. In my opinion, a fatal 4-way would be great because you have one established team in the Bellas. You have a Legends team in Trish and Lita, and then and the Bellas are Legends too, but you know what I mean. Because okay, so and like I said, I want it to be a fatal 4-way because you have a Legends veterans team and established team in the Bellas. You have a Hall of Famer Legends team in Trish and Lita. You have a up and coming tag team in Sasha and Bailey, and then you have a tag team that's been a tag team for at least 3 years in the Iconics that are hungry, that want to, beat all these legendary people, you know? So those 4 teams, in my opinion, would be great for women's tag titles at WrestleMania. And like I said, I believe that the Bellas should win. I'm not going to go back on that. I'm not. So yeah, as I said, I could definitely believe them being, introduced around Royal Rumble time, the teams being built up and all that, and them doing a fatal 4-way or a triple threat or whatever. But like I said, my personal opinion, I would do a fatal 4-way. And then it said that a Queen of the Ring pay-per-view is being in the possible talks for 2019 because they're looking for all women's pay-per-views, WWE wise. And this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. And I could definitely believe it because we all know that with how well Evolution did, especially considering with how well Evolution did, that we knew that there was going to be all women's pay-per-views. Going to be more of those. And I said that I felt like I always wanted a Queen of the Ring. I always wanted that ever since Chyna entered the Rumble and ever since Chyna was in the final 2 of King of the Ring. So I always wanted that. Some people are like, oh, it's not going to work because they'll have to do the tournaments at the actual pay-per-view and blah, blah. And I'm like, this is how you tell these are the people that don't really know WWE's history and don't really know Vince. Because first of all, people seem to think that Triple H booked Evolution. No, Vince was all over that. The times, the matches, the placement, all that was Vince. I don't know why the fuck people think Vince can't book his shows when he's been doing it for over 12 fucking decades. Like, what the fuck? But yeah. But no. I'm like, WWE could easily do a Queen of the Ring pay-per-view. They could have like the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the finals all on the show, or they could just have the semifinals and the finals, or just the finals, whatever they want to do. They could easily do one of those 3 options, and it could work, right? Especially if they go with the idea of adrenaline, really wanting this, all that type of stuff. So they could easily do that, okay? They could easily do, like, the tournaments leading up to the quarterfinals or what the fuck ever they choose to do on Raw and SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? Just like they did for the World Cup, just like they've done for other tournaments. They could easily do that on Raw and SmackDown to help build up the tournament. Okay? So that's like a possibility of 3 matches right there. They could do the women's tag titles if that happens. They could do both the Raw and SmackDown women's title defenses. Possibly NXT and NXT UK title defenses for women. A regular one-on-one match. Um, you know, uh, a stipulation match. Like they could do shit with this pay-per-view. Like, I don't think that there's like, I don't know why people think that. Like, no. WWE probably would not do a full-on Queen of the Ring tournament all in one pay-per-view. They're probably not gonna do that. They probably want it to be built up, so they're gonna have it be built up on Raw and SmackDown by having qualifying matches and all that. And then having like the last 3, 2, or 1 match at the pay-per-view, and then having title defenses, a singles women's storyline and all that. So, like I said, it's not set in stone. It's an idea that's being floated around for an all women's pay-per-view next year. But I could believe a Queen of the Ring. And honestly, the women have been deserving of that pay-per-view for I don't know how fucking long. So I could believe it. I want it. But I'm gonna wait for more clues and stuff leading to that to that specific pay-per-view to really, get on board with it. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.